Saira. Just to recollect what we were discussing last week, we are in chapter 9 of the Geetha Vahini. Swami has been talking about the Varna system and highlighting the importance of Varna system for the society and that it should not be thrown away. And Swami is trying to explain in various ways why it is important and how it should be treated and so on. So that's where we are. We read, I think, a couple of paragraphs just before we close the session. We didn't discuss those two paragraphs. So I think we'll continue from that point onwards. I will ask Sister Kalyani to read. Sai Rams.
If hatred increases, it will not benefit anyone. To pursue the idea of all are equal is like running after the mirage to slake one's thirst. It will only breed discontent. The rulers must now assemble and consult the representatives of the people, namely the pundits and experienced elders, and discuss the value of this ancient system of social organization. Instead, if they just decide on the basis of external forms and features that there is some poison in this and run into panic, that will only reveal their ignorance. The rulers, as well as the pundits, both have the happiness of the people at heart. Why this Varna system originated and with what end in view has led to comments, because it was not practiced on the continued counsels of the wise. Take one small example. Some nations have manufactured bombs that can wipe out lakhs, 100,000 of people at one burst. Though they know this is bad, the rulers are themselves encouraging it. If they are used as the wind takes them, ruin will fall on all. When chaos threatens, they are to be used only for self-defense. The purpose is not the destruction of the world, but the protection of the values of one's own country and culture. So also, the Varna system is to be treated as a strong armament to protect the country and culture. The rules and regulations, the restrictions and recommendations are all to defend the people from ruin. They are disciplines which have to be honored in the way they are laid down and followed strictly and correctly. To deal with them as the whim dictates, without regard to the directing funds, the limits and the boundaries, is to invite anarchy.
Thank you, Kalyani. So I think we have read it last week also, and I think we've discussed enough. Swami is trying to highlight and say that Varna system is a protection to the society. It may seem not as something not so beneficial, but Swami says it has a place, just like armaments have a place in protecting a country. So I think with those, I will just stop continuing to say anything, but I will ask others to share their thoughts, anything which strikes you, and we can discuss. Saira.
Uncle, I was just wondering, for every paragraph that we read, can we also just read it in Telugu, as a practice, and then?
I think that will be very good, Kalyani. I will ask Auntie to, Auntie, this.
Saira. If hatred increases, that is the paragraph which she wants to read.
Yes, Auntie.
Can you just go through that?
If hatred increases, it will not benefit anyone.
Yeah. One minute. It doesn't start with a paragraph. It's somewhere.
I know. In Telugu, it's somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle. So I have to search for.
I think it may be in page 59 and Dveshamukani, Vedamukani, something like that. Or
59? No.
I don't know. Maybe we went
No.
to 60, is it?
Yeah, we are on 62 now, 63.
In Telugu?
In Telugu, 63, 64.
Oh, I see. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
We are
Okay, sorry.
no, it is 9th chapter. I'll search it out and read it out to you, Kalyani, just for time being. Let us discuss whatever anybody wants to say. Is it not the purpose of the society to treat everyone as equal? Why Swami is saying it is running after mirage to fix one's thirst?
I think that's where I think you had to read, Auntie. All are equal. I think it'll be nice. I think that's why.
Let us discuss that thing. Why Swami is saying like that?
Yeah, I think it's better that a confusion will be too much if you just go by that without reading the.
Sorry. Let me read this. I found out this.
Which page, Auntie?
Yeah. It is 65 on the page in the middle of the paragraph.
Okay.
ఊరికే విషయములు తెలియని వాదనలో విపరీతార్థములు చెలరేగించిన ఇంత మార్పు కలుగును, ద్వేషము పెరుగును. దట్ ఇస్ వాట్ ఇఫ్ హేట్రెడ్ ఇంక్రీజెస్. అది ఎవరికి క్షేమము కాదు. ఎండుమావుల జలమును భ్రాంతి చేత తరమును కొని పోయినట్లు సర్వము సమానమైన భ్రాంతితో సర్వలకు అశాంతిని కలిగించుచున్నారు. దట్స్ వాట్ ఇస్ గ్రేట్ డిస్కంటెంట్. ప్రజాప్రతినిధులైన పండితులను, అనుభవజ్ఞములైన పెద్దలను చేరి పరిపాలకులు పరిశోధన సలుపుట చాలా మంచిది. కానీ వీటి విషయమే తెలుసుకొనక బాహ్య కర్మములనే ప్రధానముగా పట్టుకొని ఇందులో ఏదో విషయం ఉన్నదని అదిరిపడుట అవివేక లక్షణం. మేబీ బికాస్ దిస్ లైన్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్స్ వాట్ స్వామి ఈస్ ట్రైంగ్ టు సే. బాహ్య కర్మములనే ప్రధానముగా పట్టుకొని, whatever
external
work, whatever they are doing, people are doing, we go after that and we divide the society into this many groups or varnas. So varnas. So that is not the correct way. It is just like going after mirage. That's what Swami is trying to tell here. Actually, in a society, all are equal. That is the best thing which can be followed, but maybe it's not possible. It's not possible to treat everyone as equal. That's what Swami is trying to say. But if anybody wants to comment on that.
That is what we have to understand. What is the conscious?
Why is Swami saying that all are not all are equal?
That is the one, yes.
Yes, Brother Dasan, you have something to say?
Yeah, according to this one, Swami is saying all varnas are supposed to be equal. Mean it's like a maya, it's like after the mirage of, so the varnas are created for the reason. People are supposed to understand that one. That is what Swami is saying, I think. Whatever Auntie says, also same thing.
Anyone? Thank you very much, brother. Any other thoughts from anyone?
Sairam.
Yes, Sairam.
Is Swami saying that some are higher, lower, or better, and not so better? When you say it's not equal, what does that mean then? Like some professions, some varna, you can understand they're all equal, are parts of the body, right? And they all have their function. But why is he using the word equal? Sairam.
Yes, thank you. Swami has used the word sarvamu samanamuna brantito. That's the word. Everything is equal. I think that's the right word. But later on also Swami is, I think we'll come to that. So Swami says, thinking that everything is the same. I think rather than equal, I think the word same would be much better in my view. Samanam can also mean equal, but it also has a sameness. The reality is this concept of everyone is equal. I think that's what everyone is troubled by, you know. When we should say everyone is equal, and why is Swami saying it's a delusion to think everything is equal? See, Swami has not the word sarvulu. Swami has used sarvamu samanamu. Everything is equal. The word Swami has used is not, when they have used the word all, but actually the word which Swami has used is everything. Sarvam. He didn't say everybody. He said everything is equal. If we think, that is delusion. I think my understanding is even when Swami says all are divine, if Swami and we are the same, equal, then why should we worship Swami? The thing is, the reality is, though the essence is the same, the external manifestation of it has differences. Not high or low, differences. Is the hand low or feet low? Is feet high or hand high? You know, both are different in their external manifestation and activity. They are equal or they are same only because they belong to the same body. In that sense, they are the same. The essence is the same, but externally, the manifestation and the activities are different. And each part of the body is given, it's made up of different muscles, different nerve structure, nerves, and so it functions differently. Though the same blood flows, the function is different. So when Swami says everything, we should understand there are differences. Swami is not saying something is high or low. Swami is saying everything is different. So we have to respect that. I think that's my understanding. So
Uncle, is there a different word in Telugu or in Sanskrit for, like, if you wanted to say identical versus equal?
Yeah, there is samanamu. Samanam is the word identical.
Identical is also the same word?
Yeah, I think so.
but here also Swami has used the word samanam.
Samanam.
So Swami has used the word equal. You can say equal and same. I think samanam means that which is I
Common.
will just
No.
common.
Yeah, common.
Okay. So if you take samanam, equal, similar, like, all this are meaning. Okay, like, common.
Common.
Okay, equal, similar, alike. I think
Alike.
all these mean the same thing. There's one discourse where Swami's talked about socialism, communism, everyone is equal, that concept. What he says is, in this world, everyone is created. Many people think if everyone has the same amount of money, the world will be peaceful. Okay, if everyone gets the same income, everyone does the same job, people think everything will be fine. He said cannot be, because the desires and thoughts in everyone is different. When that is so, how can they become equal?
Okay.
See, someone may want to spend the money in a certain way, the other person may want to spend the money in another way. So when that is so, it is not only the income, how they spend the money also determines whether they are equal or not. So this external equality in this created world, finding equality is running after a mirage. Because in the external world, you cannot find equality, even if you want to use the word equality. because everyone is not the same. Everyone does not have the same skills. Everyone doesn't have the same emotions. Everyone doesn't have the same thoughts. So there is bound to be differences. So there are bound to be. So that's what Swami has used the word swabhava in the earlier. See, Swami says everything is, there's a swabhava and swarupa.
So
If you just make the swarupa equal without the swabhava same, then it is not going to work. I think if you read about 3 or 4 paragraphs before, Swami is talking about the nature. If everything, Swami says everything has a nature and form. If you try to make the form the same without the nature coming to the same type, same category, it is not going to work. Then it will not be the same thing. I think that's what Swami was telling. So that is, for example, if I'm a Shudra, my tendencies are of a Shudra. If I dress up just like a Brahmana and sit and do what the Brahmana is doing externally, it will not be, I'm not a Brahmana. That's the reality. I'm just putting on an act, because internally my thoughts, vasanas, bhava, everything is different.
okay.
So we should, so the thing is, I think we talked about there's only one language, the language of love,
No.
or your heart, or whatever. So does it mean we abolish all the external languages? Have their differences, and you have to follow the rules and grammar of each of the languages. So it is the same thing which Swami is trying to say, is my understanding.
Yeah.
I think there are a couple of members. Okay, Sairam, Sister Vijaya, please go ahead. You had something.
Why don't we talk about this? We went with Mani Aunty and with you, Brother Aruna. So what about intercaste marriages? And you had said that Swami doesn't encourage it. But the reality of it is it's happening. And people are I think it's been a couple of generations, they've taken the last, their caste name or the last name out so that they are without the caste, so nobody knows which caste they're from. Is that what Swami is saying here, that it's going to lead to ruin? First of all, not having a caste and just, abolishing in yourself, I don't want people to know my caste and, I don't have the last name. Secondly, what in the case of intercaste marriages and the children? What swabhava will they have? Sairam.
Sairam, thank you. So Sister has posed some questions. I think we'll take it up for discussion. Sister Shivani, you have any thoughts? Please go ahead.
Sairam, so the discussion is on Swami saying that all are not equal. So what I was thinking is, it could be that people have different temperament. People are on a different spiritual path. And as Auntie said, people are following different style, not having the last their, name or whatever they are living. My understanding is how we, learning from this paragraph, how can we be inclusive in our thinking, that whatever happening around us, it's fine. It's without looking that everybody should be at this level, everybody should think this way, or everybody should get spiritual, like myself as well. Sometimes it comes, why spiritual, why they are so still ritual? But I have to stop. I have to be more inclusive. Everybody has their journey. Everybody has I have to understand that differences, but still be inclusive of that. That's my understanding. Sairam.
Sairam, sister. I think you used a word called inclusive. Maybe you should elaborate.
Inclusive means that understanding and respecting people at different levels, different understanding, different temperament, all the differences which exist in whatever is a physical attribute, in their profession, in their thinking, in their way of style, living. How can we be more respectful, whatever they're doing? And yeah, that's what I meant, inclusive.
Okay, thank
More
you very
respectful.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sister. Brother Thasan, please.
So, Sairam, brother, Swami is saying here, because nowadays the people are saying everyone is equal. There's no 4 varnas. You have to, this world, everyone's supposed to be forgot about the varnas and be like a one varnas. So that means, that's what Swami is saying, that's wrong. So you have to accept that for Varnas, whatever it was created. But between the Varnas, thousands of different Varnas that people created. Swami especially talking about the 4 Varnas, whatever created, you'll have to follow. But some people are nowadays saying no Varnas. That is wrong. That is my understanding, brother. Thank you.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. Anyone else has anything to share?
The last sentence, why this Varna system originated and with what end in view, has led to comments because it was not practiced on the continued counsels of the wise. So is there like a reason why the Varna system originated, or has Swami ever spoken about that?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Dani. So I think questions. So I think we will, I think I will take up Sister Vijaya's question about intercaste marriages. I think because I think she has brought it up a couple of times, I think this past 2 sessions also, maybe we should discuss that. What does everyone think? Based on what Swami has said, what does everyone think about it? How do we view intercaste marriages? Should we be inclusive, as Sister Shivani said, or should we advise people that they should not? Or is it right or wrong even for ourselves also? I think I think most people are married here, so there are no bachelors or anyone thinking to marry here in the group. But I think so. It all matters. How do we view it? I think that's the question. I will open it up for discussion. We will just discuss what does everyone think, or anyone who wants to share their thoughts. How do we view intercaste marriages? What will Swami think of an intercaste marriage, given what we have read?
The Swami didn't encourage the intercaste marriages, because if you go into that other caste, and it's hard for the other person to follow their traditions and their way of doing things. So for our own benefit, Swami is asked to stay with the same. Thank you.
Thank you. So anyone else would like to comment on it?
Saira.
Yes, brother. Okay, Saira auntie. Manori auntie will go. Yes, auntie.
Yeah, I feel that sort of marriage sort of will confuse the children also. They will not know which path to follow, and mostly they don't follow any religion or any culture. That's what I feel. So I don't think it's, I don't know, in my view, it's not a favorable thing.
Thank you very much, auntie. Yes, brother Dasan, please go ahead.
Yeah. Suppose if someone married to a Sutra going to marry to a Brahmin, the person from the Sutra, he doesn't know any mantras and everything. With that particular society, they will find difficult to adjust themselves in future. Even the kids, even the generations to be affected, that is the reason Swami is mentioning. Some countries, they have atomic bomb and everything to just to protect the culture. Culture is the important. They have it there. They are not going to use it. But when anyone threaten to their culture and their land, and they will use it. So same way, every Varnas, they have their specific culture. So in order to adapt to the culture, they have to be in that culture. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Sister Anita, please go ahead.
Sai Ram, brother. Now with the next generation, a lot of times we feel that, we can't really impose on the next generation, and there's so much intermixing of cultures, and if the kids are having more things in common. I have seen people, even when they are in the same religion, like our age group people, we differ in how we pray and mantras and everything. If you have everything in common with each other, that's fantastic. But if you are living or working in an area where there's not too many people in commonality with your beliefs, and and sometimes you get involved with another person and you have more things in common, and the religion just follows, and um, you probably would have a stronger bond, because of your commonality. And it's not 100% that you are both Hindus and you know the chanting and you know everything, that you're going to get along, because I've seen several failed marriages like that. So I feel like being a Shudra or being a Brahmin or Kshatriya, I don't feel I'm superior than anybody or I cannot mix with anybody. I don't know. That's my say.
Thank you very much, sister.
Thank you.
Sister Maha, please go ahead.
Hi, Ram. I heard one of the discourse from Swami. He mentioned that if a Brahmin got married to a Muslim person, how can they adjust? One of them will be a vegetarian, the other one will be non-vegetarian. So it's really hard for them to adjust. So my question is in here, if they both agree to live like one person, like a vegetarian, and the other one is not vegetarian, is that okay? Even though Swami is saying that, it's hard to adjust.
So you're asking a question, sister, I guess.
Yeah, this one Swami said, mentioned that it's hard to adjust. How about if both of them and they agree to adjust? Okay, you can eat meat and I want to be a vegetarian and you can be a non-vegetarian. If both of them can adjust, is that okay?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, sister. Yes, Sister Shivani, please share it.
I just want to thank Sister Auntie Vijaya, because we never got so many responses on any questions. So it's such a hot topic on intercaste marriage. So it's a great topic. But I think it's just to piggyback on what Sister Anita said, that, yes, same caste marriage has not been successful, and intercaste, I have seen in my house, my sisters, they had intercaste marriage, and, with Swami's grace, it's working well. My thought on that is, if there is first you have to develop an understanding. If there's a good understanding in those two souls or, human beings, then definitely that adjustment, love, and sacrifice comes along with it, because there is an understanding. So I believe, and based on the era we are living, and that's why I said inclusive, in the sense, using the word which is commonly used nowadays is, there has to be inclusivity and understanding in our thinking before we take any action, whether it's marriage or any relationship we jump into. Sayonara.
Thank you, sister. Anyone else has any comments? Please, or Brother Dasan, please.
So I'm sorry, brother. It's a previous fan. Okay, anyway.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
That's so fine. Sister Anita said something, brother. So according to Anita, because when you look at us, if we have our kids not get married, but we like to get them married in our Varnas. We don't like to go beyond the Varnas. If anything happened, we try to adjust. We try to say, okay, when they have understanding, they can adjust and live. But main thing, but we don't want to do that one final thing. If we cannot do anything, that's what we are satisfying ourselves. So yeah, that is that is my view, brother. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. Yes, Sister Vijaya, you had something to say.
There's also Swami is encouraging everybody to go to school, free schools, free education, right up to university, postdoc. And so he's bringing everybody up. And with the commonality of the human values, he's encouraging everybody, of course, to delve deeper into this topic. I just find Swami is also responsible for the different castes to mix together, and not just the caste, but men and women are now working, in the same offices and the same institutions. So it's very hard. I mean, when you find somebody of equal value with you, especially in the Sai family fold, I think there is more encouragement in that sense. You can see who the people are, and we are told to look beyond the caste. So it's conflicting messages there. You look beyond the caste at someone's, goodness, someone, you think is a compatible life partner for you. So I've told that to my kids. I think, maybe I didn't understand this concept, the Varna. I said, no, your values are very important. So my children have all gone through education in human values, and they find their partners and they're very happy. They have children, they're very happy. And I was looking at them, and you have to have, like Brother Aruno said, the same family, the same values. So what is Swami saying here? That yes, I asked you to do, I want you to be immersed in human values. I also want everybody to be educated. Of course, the men are, boys on one side and girls on the other side, but eventually they do have opportunity to mix. What then, Sairam?
Thank you, sister. Brother Yokumaran.
Yes, I am. Because I have one very good experience because I am working as a cleaner. So when you do the cleaning, when you throw the garbage in the garbage room, it's fully compacted. So once you go inside, all these things smell and it's come on your body and the clothes. And my family, he doesn't feel nothing. And I get to give a ride to the one of the grandma. After I took shower and everything, once she get in the car, she said, what the kind of smell? I couldn't bear it. She get out from the car. So that is my mother, colleague, friends, and everybody who working as a cleaner, they understand. They don't smell nothing. The person who in the car with a different kind of situation, they smell very bad. But I took shower and head shower and clothes washed and everything is different. That's what I think those days they differentiate, not to mix up with those things, and keep in neat and tidy, I guess. Thank you, Saira.
Sairam, Brother Sairam. Brother Sitaram has posted one of Swami's discourses on this. Maybe I will just...
Yeah, you have to read it.
Yeah.
I saw it. It's good.
1 second, let me... Okay, so fine. Swami says, new fashions can be noticed today. Swami has said caste of humanity. Yes, it is true. Since Swami has said caste of humanity, many think that they can marry anybody. Swami has only said caste of humanity.
But not culture of humanity.
Yeah, wait once. Okay, Auntie. I'm finding it difficult to read.
Can I read?
Please read, Auntie. Okay.
New fashions can be noticed today. Swami has said, caste of humanity. Yes, it is true. Since Swami has said caste of humanity, many think that they can marry anybody. Swami has only said caste of humanity, but not culture of humanity. There is culture and one needs to follow it. What is the culture of man? What is his tradition? What is the use when one forgets the goodness in one's culture and takes to worldly ways? The culture of Bharat is very sacred. There are no caste differences for Swami. All belong to one caste, but there is difference in culture. Because of the differences in culture, the lifestyle too is different. One must consider it too. If it fits their convenience properly, say, Swami has said so. And when people don't want to do something, they do not quote Swami. Is it devotion in true sense? One should follow whatever Swami says, and it is not correct to follow those that one likes and drop those that one doesn't like. Hence, for everything, there is an inner meaning. SSS 1987 320
March 8th.
March 8th.
I think Sister Anita has also written something. True values are utmost and common interests. Religion will definitely be decided by both when you respect each other. Sister Aruna says, Sai Ram, okay. Humanism before religion.
Yeah.
That's what again Sister Anita has said. See, I think the fundamentally the problem. See, in the world we are going to have all kinds of people doing all kinds of things. I think we are all sitting here and reading what Swami is saying, and Swami knows better than all the people who are doing all kinds of things. I think that's the first thing we should understand. Is it for everyone? I don't think so. This teaching is only for the people who are coming and learning. Because Swami himself knows that everyone may be not ready to even understand this, so accept this and then practice it. I think that's the first thing which I would like to say. Number one. Number two, people think getting married means just because you like another person, you get married. Because people think marriage is for having a good time, enjoying, being happy with another person, doing the things which both of us like, which are all worldly things. They're all concerned about worldly experience, enjoyments, and sensual pleasure. And fortunately, if they all think alike, if the people think alike, they will have a good time. I'm not saying people won't be happy. But Swami did not come to make sure that everyone is getting a good partner and getting married and enjoying life in this world. He's coming down is to re-establish dharma, re-establish people's quest for truth, that they evolve themselves as with human qualities and also divine qualities. I think that's the intent of Swami. So if you take in the Hindu tradition, there are 8 types of marriages. I don't know whether anyone knows. There's Brahma, Daivata, Paisachika, and I don't want to go into the details because then that's a separate discussion altogether. But what I'm saying is different ways people, Asurik, Gandharva, Rakshasa, Paisachika, all kinds of marriages take place in this world. Because everyone's intention and their aim in life is different. When the Vedas set out a path of how we should get married, is only because to safeguard dharma, safeguard the scriptures, and the practices which have been laid down by the rishis. And that falls under, there are 2 categories. One is Brahma or Daiva. There are individual likes and dislikes alone do not dictate who you marry, why you marry. You marry only to preserve dharma, preserve culture, preserve tradition, preserve everything that is of a very high nature. So in that case, people, elders get together and decide what will be the marriage which will sustain our tradition. I think that was the original good intent or the Rishi's intent. And that is the thing which I think Swami always, when he's talk about culture, he's talking about that. Even though intrinsically human beings are the same. I think people were talking about adjusting and so on. But I think the rishis were not interested in adjusting. They wanted someone who can come and preserve the dharma. For example, if you're a Brahmana, if you marry a person with knowledge of the practices and the theory and the philosophy behind it, they will be able to come and support, because they would have seen their parents doing it. They would have seen their grandparents doing it. So it is easy for them to come and strengthen the culture and also keep it continuing. I think that's the only intent. Because individual likes and dislikes, we have the same interests, we want to go to visit same countries, we want to spend the time in the same way. That is not the idea, because that is all from a worldly perspective. We want to just have a good time in this world, and people do it. Let them do it. It is their choice, and they can live. So I think if that our goal is to preserve dharma, then you hire marry only someone who is knowledgeable. For example, if I have a company or business, if we hire anyone on the street to do the, just because they look nice or something like that, if they don't know to do the job, the business will suffer. So we hire a person who is qualified, who has a knowledge, who has experience. These are 3 things which we use to hire anybody or even to do a business with somebody. So I think marriage is a business of prolonging culture and dharma. That's the way Sanatana Dharma looks at it. So I think that is the idea. I think there was another question asked, what if people can adjust, is it okay? Adjust alone is not good enough, because you have to actively support and grow the dharma, and for that knowledge and experience and exposure is essential. People may live happily and contentedly, they may they are not fighting and all that, that's possible, but it does not necessarily further the dharma. I think that's my understanding. And of course children will be confused and they will not know what to do. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah.
I hope if anyone has something to add to this topic, we will take it up. Otherwise, we'll go to the next question.
As the society has advanced so much now,
Advanced, Santi?
Yeah, society
Yes.
has changed. Lots of changes have taken place in the concept of society now. Since what you said was very correct. In those days, rishis and munis thought about the dharma to be nurtured and to be passed on to the next generation. That is why they were worried about marriages should take place in the same caste, so that the couple would bring up children in the same way, and the tradition and the culture will slowly improve, and it is passed on to the next one. But now, as you say, it is for the pleasure, it is for the attraction for each other. That is the thing which is taking place now for the marriages. They think that this is very important for us. But are they helping in any way to nurture this culture? I don't think so. That's why Swami said to uplift the dharma, or to pass on that important dharma to the other generation. It's very, very necessary that both of them should belong to one value, not more. In those days, caste was the most important thing. So now, of course, we can say about the values also. If they have the same human values, they get married, and then they can promote the values also. Sairam.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Yes, Sister Aruna.
Sairam, brother. But my understanding what you have said is always the culture has to remain, right? Whatever the modern world or anything comes in place, even we still stick with the culture. That is what Swami is saying. That has an inner meaning to it. So, like talking about intercaste marriage and all, that is for the worldly side of looking at it. Am I right on this point?
Yes, Sister. My understanding is Swami acknowledges there's confusion today.
Yeah.
But what Swami needs and who Swami needs are at least a few, who understands the importance of Varna system, and they doing whatever they can to uphold this. That's all he needs. If everyone is jumping off the cliff, you also don't jump off the cliff. Somebody has to save the world. Somebody has to decide and determine that to the extent possible, we are going to do something different. We may not be able to change the society, but at least we can do what is within our ability and within around us. True, sometimes if today people may say we are all Brahmins, but there are people who don't know what is Sandhya Vandanam, then it's only namesake, external, they say we are Brahmana. You are not necessarily Brahmana. Brahmana means one who follows the Brahminic rituals, the discipline and all that. So I think that's what Swami is referring to. It's not that, yeah, I think
So
that's
you
my
don't need
understanding.
to compare. But according to Swami's word, we have to stick with the culture.
Whatever.
Thank you.
Okay.
Right.
Which
And
is value. Yes,
and to
Auntie.
uphold the dharma, of our country, we have to stick to that caste system. That's why Swami is saying, I think that is the purpose for which Swami.
Yes. And I think now next is Kalyani. Sister Kalyani asked the question, why is this Varna system originated and with what end in view? I think Swami has already mentioned it a bit, that that is what will sustain the society. So there is division of labor, division of function, so that there is no confusion, so that people are not looking for one job here, next job tomorrow, all that. He says you do what is allocated to you as your duty, and that way the society will be able to maintain equilibrium. And that's what Krishna is also saying in the Gita. That's what I understand. I think there are I think last chapter there's a mention of that by Swami. Swami didn't go into great detail, but Swami mentioned it. And that was the end in view. And then Swami says, it has led to these comments which we are seeing today, because it was not practiced and continued on the continued counsels of the wise. Because how it was not practiced with wisdom, with proper knowledge, with the proper emotional maturity. It was not practiced, and I think that's what I understand. But if anyone has something to add, or if you differ also, you please go ahead and share your thoughts, Saira.
Thank you, Brother Arun. Very well explained. Like when you were talking and explaining and reflecting on that, it's so well said that it's important to maintain that practices and the culture, because over a period of time it just goes away. And that's where I think the anxiety, the stress come, because there is no discipline. I think the culture and the caste, that gives us some discipline, something to hold on to. That's my understanding. And that's what I'm taking from it. It's very important. I mean, we can't impose on our kids. We can't impose on, everybody has their own path. But definitely if we can create the environment, I'm taking as a mom, create an environment and teach kids or the value of the culture is very important, because it gives you that confidence when you live your life. It's more living a very confident life and not in anxiety and stress, because when you don't have anything to hold on, that's what all this mess comes. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sister.
Sai Ram Arno.
Yes, Auntie.
This is Aku Auntie. Thank you very much for giving us an insight into the Varna system. Actually, our generation, we knew little bit, not much. Now, what is going to happen to the future generation? Because the parents are confused and the children have no idea about this Varna. Because I have come across a girl who doesn't know what Veda is. She's a Hindu, but she doesn't know even the word Veda. So how are we going to look out for these children, our future generation? What is going to happen? How can we remedy this? Thank you, Saira. Please give us advice.
Saira, Auntie. I will open it up for anyone who would like to say, what are we to do? The future looks bleak. It is just going to be completely opposed to what Swami has said. What is the lot of the world? I think that's Auntie's question. Yes, Brother Dasan, please go ahead.
Yeah, if we take the society, brother, when we take the children up to 13 years, most of them will listen to the parents. So whatever they learn between that age, they will keep it in their mind. Even though they pretend that they don't know, even if we take the Balavia class students, even they drop out after grade 10 or 11, most of the kids, but they always behave good, most of the people. They know the values. So the parents responsible to teach them the good values until 13 years. After that, they may not listen, but they will behave good. So if you take the Brahmins, I always take the Brahmins because they're easy to understand. They have to do their 3 Kala Puja, the 3 Sandhya Vandana. So if they are not doing that one, that Varna system also going to be ruined in our society. So they have to follow the Varnas. That's what Swami is saying clearly. You cannot say equal. He said If we say someone because of the education, everyone has the same education, everyone has the same money, and they are coming to the level of saying we all equal, that is wrong. So we have to follow our tradition and culture. We have to teach to the kids, then they will behave according to that. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. Anyone else would like to comment?
I came
Yes,
across.
Auntie, please.
Okay. If anyone is trying to do, let
No,
them
no,
say.
please go ahead, Auntie.
I came across a person to whom the same Sakuji was asking the same question: what will happen to our culture? He said, I don't know how far it is workable. He said a new set of culture, a new set of values will be established in the society, a new set of culture will come. I don't understand what it is going to be. As you said, it is very bleak, the future. If we have to have that kind of same culture, same traditions, which we followed years ago and generations ago, so that may not be the same. It is already we are seeing this change in the culture. So it is a new set of culture will come out. That's what that person said. Thank you.
Saira, Auntie. Yes, Sister Anita.
Brother, I feel any religion has to be progressive. Hinduism has been progressive, I would say. When you compare Hinduism to the Muslim religion, see what chaos is happening in the world because they're stuck in the old thousands of years and their minds are closed. Some of them, I'm not talking in general. I used to attend classes for, the Baha'is, the Baha'i religion, and it's a very different kind of religion where they do not have clergy because the clergy in our Hindu society also corrupts the temples, and there's a lot of sadhus and a lot of you don't know who to believe or whatever. And the Baha'is also believe that you get married to each other. With the permission of their parents, and even the 40, 50-year-olds, they go and get the blessings from their parents to get married, and they follow the religion of Baha'u'llah. Like, I don't want to go into the details of the religion, but I still feel like being a Hindu and coming from, hierarchy, whatever, I still feel like the kids, no matter what you tell them to follow the Vedas, or tell them, like, we inculcate when they are young, but when they grow older, when they go to school, they look at everybody as equal. And at home, they always say, Mom, you can't say this about Chinese. You can't say this about Black people or religion and all. Everybody's the same. So I personally feel that I think we need to do more, like in progression, so kids are interested and maintain and preserve our religion and culture. Sairam.
Thank you very much, Sister.
Sairam, I don't know.
Yes,
I
Auntie.
asked the question, and also I feel that we have to forget about the past. If my Baba says past is history, future is mystery, but present is a present for you. So we should consider the present generation and how we can make them to understand their culture, their values, everything. We have to focus on the present generation, because the past generation, most of them didn't have much knowledge. I'm speaking about our own people, but we can do with the present time children, youths, adults, everybody. If we can concentrate on this and educate them, that will make a big difference, I think so. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Yes, Sister Shivani.
Here, I'm just sharing something I practice, or we have discussed at home, and being as, we were just learning in SSC, we were teaching our kids, as Swami said, that be a good Hindu, be a good Muslim, because all religions, when we were teaching, because I call, people from Islam background to teach, and Christianity, we didn't teach and learn. We really brought them, those who are ambassador of that culture. And when we ask our kids, what is a commonality? We just cover Christianity, Islam, and Hindu. You know what our group 2 kids said? Oh, they all are teaching about love and peace. It's not our thing. They didn't teach. We said, okay, now you see the commonality in all the religion. They said they all are teaching peace and love. So I would say the differences are there, the way people are practicing, but the underlying current, as Swami was saying, because I was really reflecting since long time, why Swami said being a good Hindu, a good Muslim, a good, why he's emphasizing. And when I had some discussion with my girls and we were talking, they had a similar question as some of the sisters said, that, kids said, you are not different. So I said, do you know what Hinduism teach? First of all, Hinduism, not a culture, is a sarva dharma. It embraces everything. Second thing is, if everybody will understand their culture, we don't dive deeper into, or in Quran, or in Bible, or in Gita, if we really understand to the nitty-gritty, actually it teaches the same thing. It's just you should have something as a base rather than flip-flop all over the place. That's just my understanding. Are we really, if everybody will try to be in the practice the religion they're born in sincerely and deeply, I think there will be much more peace. The world will be more peaceful.
Okay, thank you very much, sister. So I think everyone has shared variety of. I think the questions about what to do with the future generation. I think whenever we are reading Swami's text, I think what we should first do is how we see in our own life. Should we improve? How should we improve? I think that's the most important. Until we achieve something, we will not be able to change the world. We will not be able to even advise anyone because they will not even listen to us. I think there was, I think 2 sisters mentioned that we are Hindus. I think almost everyone here seems to be a practicing Hindu, or who call themselves the Hindu. There may be others who may be of other religion, but I do not know. If we just take the fact that we are Hindus and we want to become a better Hindu, just because we were born in a Hindu family, we do not become a Hindu. Just because we go to a temple and pray, we do not become a Hindu. If Hindu is asked, what are your scriptures? They will say, we have Vedas, Upanishads. Everyone says, every Hindu says that. But has anyone read any Vedic text? Have they studied an Upanishad? If these questions asked, we only draw a blank. That is the reality. And because Swami has said, okay, all religions are one now, so we, even in SSC or Balavikas, we try to teach them other religions. Actually, in the earlier, I think there are some discussions by Swami with Balavikas teachers in the original days, in which one teacher is asking Swami, what should we teach children? If a Christian child comes, Swami, then you should teach Christianity. Okay, if a Hindu child comes, teach them Hinduism. This is what Swami says. See, the thing is, you have to learn your own religion first and thoroughly before we try to even learn about other religions. Because otherwise, our own religion itself is a confusion for us. I think if as a Hindu, if we say in our lifetime, we are going to study one of the texts, because unlike other religions, in Hinduism, we have many, like hundreds of Upanishads, at least 10 important Upanishads, Bhagavad-Gita. We all should strive to study at least one thoroughly to call ourselves Hindu. So if I think all of us had read Bhagavad-Gita, studied it, we will not be having this discussion over 3 weekends on Varna system. Swami has said it. Swami, I think we should resolve Swami, we know that it's important and we will try to practice the best we can. I think what we can do in each of our way, what we can do is we can try to support. For example, if we see a Brahmana child learning Vedas and trying to lead a Brahminical life, then we should financially support them. If there are schools which are propagating or the culture of certain scriptural traditions, then we should support them. We can provide them financial support, or things like that also can be done. Or in our own way, we can instill whatever we learn with others. I think that's all we can do. We cannot change the world. That is Swami's job. In the Varna system, we are not Swami of how we change the world. So I think we should stress. I think parents may be worried about their children. What to do with the children. They have different choices. Just pray to Swami. He can take care of. As Brother Dasan said, after 13 years, you cannot advise children because they will not listen to you. So I think each of us will, in a different situation, in different circumstances. Let us all go away, think what we can do, ask this question, and see what we can do to support this culture, this dharma, and let Swami do the rest. I think with those thoughts, I hope we have addressed most of the questions amply. Maybe not, but I'm sure the answers will come through in the next paragraphs, is my belief. Swami never leaves us waiting for answers, because usually he gives the answers in his own way.
Brother,
yes, sister.
One more thing, brother, is start from your home. When you do things, then the children are following. They will keep it in their mind. So it has a lot of impact. It starts from home. That's the way you can look at it too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, which is very true. We should, everything which we do, we should try to learn them properly. If we are doing a puja, how the puja should be done, what is the significance, we should be able to explain everything to our children, because otherwise children usually lose faith only because they realize that the parents themselves don't know. Of course, then if they don't know, then they will not respect also, I think. That's my understanding. Okay, thank you very much, sister. Yes, Sister Shivani.
I just would like to add, the last thing, I'm talking a lot today. I don't know what did I eat this morning, but one thing, my uncle who was reading Bhagavad-Gita when he was 10, his father was kind of, you have to read. The way he was principal, but he told me at the age of 65, some family incident happened. I mean, his wife passed away, and there were so many things were happening. He said that was a time, actually the whole life I read Bhagavad-Gita, it unfolded. I really understood that time. So what I'm trying to say is, as you said, reading of a scripture doesn't mean even we are reading right now. I'm talking about myself, not anybody. It might take lifetime to really grasp and to live that life. So then only we can say, I am a Christian, I am a Muslim, I am a Hindu, just to kind of rephrasing what you have said and what he told. He was telling me that you should read every day, because he said you will not understand Gita just by reading it. It might take the lifetime, Shivani, to really understand and live that life. Just to add, thank you.
Thank you very much, sister. I think with those thoughts, we'll go to the next slide if there are no questions, pressing questions from anyone. Sister Kalyani, you have been quiet. I hope your questions are...
Should we read? I thought, did we discuss the second paragraph, or is there?
We can discuss. So Swami's again, so also Varna system is protection is what Swami said, if anyone has any question on this.
So Swami's saying the development of weapons or nuclear weapons is kind of, is good because it can help a country protect its own culture, and he's equating that to the Varna system.
Yeah, I think the way Swami is portraying, like everyone accepts that to have nuclear weapons itself is a protection. If you're able to accept that as the sake for protection, you should understand, at least you should give some similar importance to Varna system, because that is also protecting something good. I think that's I don't know whether nuclear weapons are good or not. I think, is that the question you're asking? Swami has spoken against countries spending a lot of money on nuclear systems and weapons. It can be a deterrent for anyone else attacking you, I guess, which is Swami's thing. But there should not be proliferation. I think Swami has spoken against about the proliferation, but it has a purpose. In every weapon, even manufacture of gun or whatever, weapons is for protection from bad people. Some people turn bad. Unfortunately, you can't say they are also divine and let them run wild. You have to say that person is not the same. You can't treat that person as divine and then start worshipping that. It is not possible. The essence of that person may be divinity, but that person has to be checked. I think so for that to use. So I think that's what Swami means. It's a defense system for the preservation of dharma. I think discipline, controls, all that are in place. I think that's what Swami is referring to. I hope that if anyone else would like to comment, please go ahead. Yes, Sister Vijaya, please go ahead.
It's there's never black or white, it's always gray. Take this war with Russia, threatening Ukraine with nuclear weapons, and then Ukraine on the side also having the US and NATO, and then in one side the Russians are using nuclear weapons, the other side is also going to use. Right, so we can say it's a deterrent, but then where does that leave the world? It's World War III. And so do we let Ukraine go, bombing all the museums, the schools, the hospitals, terrible, terrible tragedy? Do we just sit and watch? Or, it's a big problem right now in the world. And there's not just Ukraine and Russia, it's also in Africa, in the Middle East. Where does it stop? More and more dangerous weapons are being used because of the inherent tenacity of the people fighting for the land. It's you cannot not look at where the persons are coming from, and how do you not support them? So everybody is drawn into a battle, but it's affecting the whole world. Our prices of energy and oil and heating and all that is going up. Petrol, gas is going up. So everybody is affected. So we really wish Swami was here because, what are we supposed to do? We're praying, we're doing Gayatri and Japa and Rudram chanting continuously. But Swami, what is the action? And then you can see the world is Swami's problem. He is going to take care of it. We have to do our part. Is that enough, Saira? What else is there to do?
Sahiram, sister, thank you. Anyone else has any thoughts, please? If not, I think we will move on to the next slide. Thank you.
Therefore, the elders, the rulers, the great pundits, and the leaders of the community guarded and fostered this organization and preserved it. Think of this for a while, and the truth will flash on you, whether it is beneficial or not. If it was ruinous to society, would they have fostered it? Do you mean to say they were all foolish, or that they did not have the present type of scholarship, or were they a bit brainless? No. Their intelligence, scholarship, spiritual eminence, their spirit of inquiry, and their impartial, unprejudiced approach to social problems can be found only among 1 in 100 today. Ascetics who dedicated all their intellectual and moral strength for the welfare of the world, which task was the very breath of their life, yogis, spiritual warriors, and maharshis who sought to confer true contentment to the human community. These were the farmers of the social organization, which the moderns condemn. They were not like the reformers today who yearn for welfare in a profusion of words, but who undermine the very thing they profess to yearn for by their actions. This type of trick was unknown to the ancient sages. Modern ideas and plans are hollow and insincere. The present plans are all castles in the air. They cater more to the conceit of the planners and do not carry much meaning to others. The castles start falling down even while construction is proceeding in another place.
Thank you very much, Kalyani. So I think what Swami is, from what I understand, he's asking us to ponder about the people who have established it and not to give into the idea that we know it all. I think, which we tend to do. I think that's what Swami is saying. So I will stop here and open it up for comments from participants. Sai Ram, everyone, please.
Sai Ramana.
Yes, Sai Ram, Sai.
Yeah, just on a reflective note. So it's like that story where the father is doing a yajna and there's a cat that comes in there. It keeps hopping around. And so to ensure that the cat doesn't disturb, he ties it to a pole there and conducts the rest of the yajna. The boy sitting down there, his little son, sees the whole thing, and then he feels from next time onwards, every time the yajna is conducted, you need a cat to be tied to the pole, and then only the yajna attains fulfillment. So many times in life, I think we forget the spirit behind what is there in place and just look at what is the exact thing being told. So even in the context of the Varna system, as we have been discussing, the spirit behind which it was established and what it has been described in the Vedas, how each of the Varnashramas were meant to cater to societal needs, and how all of it came together as an offering to God. If that spirit is understood, then everything else that follows from it is also understood. But sometimes only the exact part of what is being done in terms of the actions is seen. The thought process behind that action as to why it was established is many times lost, on account of which we hold on to something, what we see, and discuss more about it, and that gets into further discussion and debate. But the spirit behind it and the fact that it's come from the sages and saints, so it has come in when they were in communion with the Lord, if that understanding prevails, then I think in terms of its acceptance and implementation in day-to-day life, whether it is ancient or modern, attains fulfillment. So just thought of sharing that. Thank you. Saira.
Thank you very much, Sai Sandesh. Any other thought from anyone?
So, Sai Ram, brother. So the olden days, the sages and everyone, even the society, they all practice and they gave the respect for the Varna system and everything. But nowadays, it's very hard to find out the people giving the respect for the Varnas. The most of the people, they say, I am this religion, but they don't understand the spiritual. And what is the covered and the spiritual about the culture and everything. The religion is like a surface. When you go into the deep sea, then you learn the spiritual. So nowadays, they are not respecting for the culture. That is a reason they are not giving any values for the Varna system. That is my understanding. Thank you,
Thank you
brother.
very much. Thank you. Yes, Sister Vijaya.
I am curious what Swami means by reformers. The current day reformers who yearn for welfare, profusion of words, but who undermine the very thing they profess to yearn for by their actions. And I'm thinking of one of my Sai sisters, her teacher, and I think I've mentioned it before, Pandit Sri Ram Sharma Acharya, who's written a number of books, but primarily I know him, and I mean, he's not alive now. He went to the Himalayas and, was instructed by, the yogis in the Himalayas. He came in and propounded, one of the things he did, and many, many other things, is the thread ceremony for everyone, including men and women. And when I first read about it, I said, in the Vedic culture, it's only Brahmins who can have that, right? And here he's saying everybody can do the Gayatri. And he propounded, all castes, they can do that. And I'm sitting here with his books on my table here, and I'm like, is he one of the reformers? And I know he meant it with very good heart. And many, many institutions and many, many people adopted his teachings and his organizational. But I can't say that he supported the Varna system. Maybe I don't know enough, Sai Ram. But there are many people in India like that, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, sister. I think Swami has already said I don't think there's anything to be repeated. The reality is the modern, you come up with new age ideas. As I think even Mani Aunty was telling that, somebody was telling that we had to recreate everything new from scratch or something of that sort. I think Swami will do what has to be done. Swami is, sometimes this having thread ceremony is an external manifestation. It's external. Everyone who got their thread, are they practicing what they are supposed to? I think those are questions which we have to ask. People can become popular. They may be well-meaning. I think Swami is not saying they're not well-meaning, but sometimes they don't understand what's going on. And of course, everyone is happy, oh, I am going to become a Brahmin and come for the thread ceremony. But how many? See, Swami has always said, if you are going to even give a teaching, you need to see the deservedness of the student. Are they qualified for it? See, Vatu, when a Vatu is given Diksha, okay, they are given strict discipline. Is everyone following that? I think these are things which a guru should ask. It's easy. There are so many people performing. Even in Toronto, there are people who have come up and they want to give Diksha, they want to do Yajñopavitam for everyone. But are they qualified? Are they sincere? Are they determined? Are they going to help foster the culture? These things have to be asked. And sometimes certain political actions, get people like them. And that's the modern thinking. I think that's why Swami has used the word modern. If such people were there and they were all doing, then there was no need for Swami to come down, is my understanding. And if we are still going to hang on to everything else around us without spending time to study, then Swami will say, pick one teacher and practice. I think that's the reality. It's not to bring down others and what they have done. It is just that we should know how best to use our time, what to study, because then there will be confusion. Because say, we may have an image of somebody. For example, a child, when it grows up, it thinks the father knows everything in the world. The mother knows everything. When they start going to school, then they realize how much the parents know or don't know. And of course, there is a stage when they think the parents don't know anything. That's also a stage of growth. But the reality is, at different times, different people help us teach, learn. But then you have to seek someone from whom you can learn more. You may not be able to do your PhD at home when the parents have not gone to university. That's a reality. So I think it's that kind of thing is what I would say. Sometimes it can be confusing if we try to read from 2-3 different systems. And not to slight anyone, but it can become confusing to us. It's my understanding. Sorry, I don't know whether I responded properly or not. Sorry. I think on the same thing, if we are telling our children, okay, you have learned Hindu prayers, now you learn Christian prayers, Muslim prayers. we have even multi-faith prayers being chanted. Children don't know any of these religions. And sometimes these multi-faith prayers are even chanted wrong. If the people from those religions come and listen, they will think, what are these people doing to our prayers? That's the reality. But we all do, and we are all happy and congratulate each other. Oh, we have done multi-faith prayers. Prayers are not performance. Prayers, a conversation between a devotee and God. Children, of course, that children, they may not understand, but I think the teachers and parents should understand this. But sometimes we do things from a political viewpoint, so that it's politically correct to do certain things. I'm not saying that children should not learn, but if the children has not learned one subject, how can they learn other subjects? And I think they need to understand what is prayer, how do you say the prayer, how do you understand, how do you relate to the world? Those things are important. I think that's my understanding. So I think maybe we are slightly off topic. I will stop here. Sorry. But it's about Swami saying moderns but say something, but the actions are different. Even today, people say, oh, Russia is bad, it's undemocratic, this and that. But the people who are calling themselves have dropped bombs and are working on nuclear proliferation. And but the gullible public who listen to news will all get worked up. That's the reality. I think we have to just pray, let God grant everyone good discrimination, I guess. Is there anyone? It's 4:22. Anyone would like to say something? I think we have this Varna system discussion has taken so much time. I think we will
4 weeks.
go.
It's 4
Sai
weeks.
Ram, I don't know.
We have been going
Sai,
on. Okay.
Sai Ram, I don't know. I
Yes.
think now Varna system is enough. We'll continue with Swami's rest of the Bhagavad-Gita.
Actually, Swami himself is telling actually in the next paragraph. Now let's come back to Bhagavad-Gita. Swami is actually, yes. So you decide. Okay, we will go ahead, I think. I don't know whether we should read one more slide and close for the day, or
if we have time, I think we can read it.
We'll just read, and so that way, people will go away without.
As the body.
As the body is for the jivi, the world is for the Lord. Whatever happens in any part of the body affects the jivi. So too, all that affects any part of the world moves the Lord. He becomes cognizant of it, and he reacts to it. Just as you are interested in all the limbs of the body being in perfect trim, the Lord too is interested in seeing that every country and every part of the world is happy and contented. Will he harm any country which is primarily a part of himself? In matters relating to the Lord, all have equal rights, all are equal. Yet one limb cannot carry out the duties of another. Each must do the task allotted to it. So too, each Varna must carry out its allotted share of the activities of society and contribute its best to the welfare of the world, of the country. As the body has stages, society has the Varnas. If all start trading, who will be the buyers? If all are engaged in fighting, who is to provide the wherewithal for their upkeep and maintenance, the food, the armor, and the equipment? So each has to do his share of social activity and ensure peace, harmony, and happiness. That is the wise course, the best organization of society.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Kalyani.
Yeah.
I think it's good for us to contemplate on this, and I think Swami seems to be slowly going away from Varna discussion. So
And such a beautiful way Bhagawan wants us to end this session. Such a beautiful message here. He has answered all of the questions.
On a lighter note, I would like to add one point to the Sai Sathya story. How we forget the spirit of the any ritual, and we follow only the outward things. What happened was the cat was coming and disturbing the yajna. So the cat was tied to a pole. Then what happened was, after in the family, the same tradition continued, and the children one day they did not catch hold of a cat. So what they thought was, they brought a silver cat and then kept it beside the yajna, and then singing that it will. And as this family increased in its riches, the silver cat was replaced by a golden cat. So we forget the main essence of the spirit of the yajna, and then we attach so much importance to these things. So with this note, I would like to end this. just for your how silly we are sometimes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Sairam, today is a special day for all mothers. So
Yeah,
happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to all of you. Yeah, okay.
Thank
Happy
you.
Mother's Day to everyone. Okay,
Bye.
Sairam. We'll close with
Happy Mother's Day.
we'll close with Samasta Lokan Shanti.
Okay.
Om Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sairam, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Sairam.
Thank you.